Hi guys, my name is Siyar Bahadurzada. This is Kim Kyusang. Today I'm going to teach you guys striking against the cage. As you know, mixed martial arts is a sport that consists of striking, grappling, wrestling. And what I'm going to teach you guys today against the cage is going to be the stand-up striking part. But I will also teach you guys how to transition from a striking into wrestling and takedowns. So in a mixed martial arts fight, there are positions that you end up against the cage. And what I'm going to show you guys are specifically techniques that you can use against the cage. So basically knees and elbows against the cage. So for example, if I have my opponent here against the cage, most likely I either have him in an underhook, and wrist control, in my head position, or it's going to be an overhook, head control and wrist control. It's super important. The basics of this position is first the head control and then the wrist control. If I don't have a good head control on him or a wrist control, I can hardly land any strikes on him, and he's going to be using his arms and he's going to switch his hips and get out of the position and put me against the cage, or just walk free in the cage and resume striking. So as a striker, if I have him against the cage in an underhook position, it's very important that I have this arm high and I have a good control over his shoulder with my hand, and I have his wrist control and I have my head position. So the shoulder control, head control and wrist control. From here I control. As I control his wrist, from here I step with this leg that I'm here, stepping between his legs so he cannot get away from here. From this position, I step back with this knee to create space so I can land my back knee. Okay? I'm in this position, I step back, and as I step back, I land the knee on his lever. Again, I have him here against the cage, I step back, land my knee, and then go back. It's important that if you have the wrist control here, as you try to go back with your leg from here, go here, and land the knee to the body, that you lift this arm so there's nothing on the way of your knee hitting his body. Again, I have him here in control, I step back, knee, and then go back to my control. And when I say control, I mean three stuff that are super important. It's the shoulder control, the wrist control, and the head control. If one of these three things you forget or not do, it will be super hard to strike this guy against the cage. Or it's going to be also really hard to control this guy. Also, this leg, my leg between his legs, make sure that he's stuck against the cage and can't go anywhere. This head position, leg position, and wrist control, and here the shoulder control are the control points in this position. From here, every time I step back, land, I go back to my control. Okay? Every time I step back, land a knee, I go back to my control. I have him here pinned against the cage. As I go with my leg back, I land the knee, and I see that his posture drops. I land a good knee to the lever, and his posture drops. As soon as his posture drops, landing another knee would be good, but from this position, the best strike to land are elbows, because his head is low, and from here I can still keep him pinned against the cage, and here land short elbows from bottom up. Okay, the principle of elbowing him from bottom up is as if you're touching your ear. Okay, it's this. Okay, and the arm, the shoulder muscles and the arm muscle has to be loose, okay? When your arm is loose, the strikes are going to be much more effective. So you're here, you hit him to the body, his posture, so you're here in the control. From here, you knee him to the body, his posture drops. As soon as his posture drops, you let go of the wrist and you strike him with an elbow. And the elbow is from bottom up. It's not this elbow. This elbow is not effective here. Okay? There is not much momentum behind this elbow. But behind this elbow, if you look at my leg, how I shift my weight and go on the, turn my entire body into the elbow, there is a lot of momentum behind this elbow from bottom up. So as soon as I land the knee and his posture breaks, from here I still control him, I still have the leg control, I still pin him against the cage, I have him here against the cage, and here, elbow strikes. As I elbow him, I shift my entire body into this elbow, and it's really heavy elbows here. Boom. Same thing you can do with an overhook control. Let's suppose he has an underhook on me, and I have an overhook situation here against the cage. Same thing. The leg, between his legs, you pin him against the cage. You get a really tight control on his arm. If it's a lazy control, from here he can just walk away. But that's not what we want. We have him against the cage, head position, arm control, wrist control, same principle. Leg comes out from here, elbow, knee to the body, and go back. Go back to control. Okay? Leg comes out, knee to the body, go back to your control. Here the same thing. When you land the knee and his posture breaks, you have his control, you can elbow him here. Okay? And from here, if you want to go to a full clinch, okay, not over or underhook, as soon as he comes up, you hit him with an elbow. He's going to come back up. You grab his head, you switch to this clinch position. Okay? I like this clinch position a lot, especially like this, if his butt is against the cage and you have shifted all your weight on his neck, and you have him here against the cage. In this position, he is super vulnerable. Okay? From here, the best thing to do is just knee his head. Okay? Knee his head. Also, if he tries to look up and come up, I control him. My head is this time not on the side of his head. Since I have him against the cage, my chin rests on top of his head. Here I have a good control. From here, from this position, this arm controls. This arm controls his posture. You create the distance, really short distance. You don't go here. If I go here, I lose control. If I stretch my arm, he's not going to be carrying my weight, and I lose him. He's going to look up, and he's going to come up with his own strikes, either short hooks or elbows, right? Again, I have him here. I want to land an elbow. I control his head. I control his posture. I go really short distance here, and here I elbow to the side of his head. Okay? As he looks up, as soon as I go here and he starts looking up, yes, then there is no need to land this elbow. Then this elbow is less effective than this elbow. Okay? As you have him here, and you shift your hand and you go back, boom, you elbow him one time, he's going to look up. Boom, the other elbow. Okay? Again, one more time. You have him here. You want to elbow his face. You control his head with one arm. You go here, you elbow him here. He looks up, you elbow him again. But again, at the same time, you have the control of the back of his head. After landing this elbow, okay, you go back to your control. You go back to your control, and here you have the same control. He's pinned against the cage. And he's carrying your weight. You're leaning on him. And from here, and if I want knee, I'll just knee him to the head and then go back. Okay? Now, here's the only way he's not going to be able to come up. So his only way to get out of this position is either go to the left or to the right. Let's say he goes to the right, to the left. If I'm here and I knee him and he goes to the left, as soon as he goes to the left, I shift my hands again. Here I can elbow him again, or another knee to the head. Okay? Again. I have him here against the cage, I make him carry my weight. I have a good control here over him. He cannot look up. The only thing he can do is just either turn his hip this way and then get out. If he gets out that way, I still have the control. But if he moves his head and push my elbow up or does anything to get out of this position, push his elbow up to get out. If he does anything like that, I shift my control over him. And here again, It's not with my hands like this, okay? If my hands are straightened out, he's going to just look up because my hands are not stronger than his back or neck, and he's going to look up. I have my hands here, okay? And I lean on him. I make him carry my weight in this position as well. And here, knee to the head. And here you can even argue to just shift your legs and knee the top of his head. If you have a good control, from this position, knee to the head and go back. Knee to the head and go back. Elbow, elbow. Okay guys, as you guys saw the way I teach striking against the cage, it's very important, as I said earlier, the head positioning, the wrist control, and the shoulder control, also the leg between his legs and pinning him against the cage. These are the four control points that you need to do right to have the guy against the cage and not being able to move freely so you can land your strikes. Also, the movement of my feet from my leg between his legs, come back and land the knee, it's super important. Okay, if my leg is between his legs and I try to land the knee, there is no effect in knees. Okay, anything you do, you have to be 100% committed, and it should be effective. Because wasting energy in an MMA fight is not something I would recommend for anybody. Also, once we have, there are several ways to control somebody against the cage. It's an underhook, an overhook, or in a tight clinch as you lean on him and make him carry your weight and his butt is against the cage, which he cannot get away from. So these are the techniques that you can apply in your trainings and in your fights. Hopefully you will have a lot of advantage from these techniques. And like I said, if you guys like the video, write comments and suggest what you guys want me to talk about next, and we'll make an instruction video about that too. Meanwhile, thank you very much for watching and stay tuned for the next video.